Stress and suffixes that begin with I. Explanation of the rule. In words that have suffixes that begin with I, the stress is on the syllable immediately before. We understand a suffix like the last part of a word. We can recognize because it is the last sound that we hear in the word when we pronounce them. For example, in bigger or R in dictionary. In this case, we pay close attention of the words that have suffixes that begin with I, like security or chaotic. It is also important to understand what a stress is. The stress is the intonation that has a word. In other words, it is the stronger sound that we can hear. In the case of security, the stress is on cure. The stress is important because it helps us to understand and give sense to the sentences. It is different to say present with the stress in press that say present with the stress in sent. Now that we know what stress is, we need to know where to put it in words that have suffixes that begin with I. But for that, we need to know what a syllable is. A syllable is a unit of sound. A word is compound for one or more syllables that we can recognize when we hear them, and they can help us to give rhythm to the words and the sentences. In the case of security, this word has four syllables: se, q, ri, and t. In this rule, we are going to concentrate in the syllable that is immediately before the suffix, for example, nat in nation. Actually, the stress in a word that has suffixes beginning with the letter I is on the syllable immediately before the suffix. This is the case of selection or clarify. Using the rule, we can know a little more about suffixes, syllables, stress, and where to apply it. Poem. A poem can be a new way to learn for auditory learners because it is attractive to the ear. A poem is an old literary style that uses verses and rhymes which give some kind of musicality to the word. These characteristics make the poem attractive and easy to remember. We understand attractive like something that has the power to catch your attention in a positive way. Learning can become more pleasant if the information is transmitted attractively. In fact, a poem is attractive because it has the same effect as music when you hear it. It stays in your mind and you can stop repeating it. In addition to this, a poem can also be something new if you use to teach. Traditionally, a poem is an artistic expression of feelings, but if you use to learn, it can be something new. Have you ever seen a poem that teaches grammar? Things that are new are always more interesting and can motivate to learn. In particular, a poem can be helpful for auditory learners. An auditory learner is someone who learns more when listening to the information. For this kind of person, a poem can be an entertaining way to learn. To finish, we can say that a poem can be something attractive and new that can motivate to learn, in particular auditory learners. The poem. I suffixes and stress. Suffixes are part of the word. At the end is where they belong. Some of them are very special. They begin with I, and this is not accidental. Syllables are units of sound, like in the case of background, which has two syllables, not 10. If you clap your hand, you find them. About stress, we are gonna talk. It's the higher sound in the word. Now put attention and hear it. Selection, clarify, spirit. To finish, let's see a new rule. In the I suffixes, we concentrate. Stress is strategically located. The syllable before the I is always stress, and this is the nation case.